I'm a deeply introverted person, all these other things. I remember the young child who was coming out of, who felt lost in Unilag. Everybody was cool, I felt uncool and awkward. I'm the young person in secondary school that was called Balogule Yobiri because I didn't have the confidence to be friends with men, so I was always friends with the female students, and the guys would mock me. And I know how painfully shy and awkward I was. And the thing that has brought me here is that I truly believe in the work I do. I love work. And it's a miracle that a shy, insecure, awkward young man could have achieved all of these things. And I feel responsible to the other shy, awkward, insecure young people who are watching me right now in secondary school and learning from me the way I learned from Fume Yonda, the way I learned from Agatha Mata and ETC. And the one thing I want to communicate to them the most is authenticity. You know? And people can sense when you are lying. And these days in the world, there's too much performance in the media. There's too much performance in the world. I don't judge people. I understand why they have to perform. Some of my friends who have apologized, they've told me that they're just apologizing, let them leave me alone. I empathize with why they've apologized. But I feel like I'm called to a different set of people. And those people, they are so sensitive. Like, if you say you are authentic, then you better be authentic. As people that nobody's caring about authenticity with them. They told you we came here to perform and move. And so for me, I feel responsible to that young person who is watching and saying, if his values are consistent, that he shouldn't apologize.
So to me, bravery is a main character in your story.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, how important is bravery to you even now?
Yeah.
And to follow up on that, where did the confidence to do that come from? You've kind of said it in your work, and I guess you're going to say that. But you, Chude, the person, had to still walk to these people. So where did the confidence for that specific action, where did that come from?
That's so... Oof. Jennifer, you made the right decision. Jennifer that came up with the concept of this show. And she's like, there are things I think that only people in your industry will be able to ask you, and people that you like. I think it's my mother. So let me tell you where I learned the first courage, I think. No, I think my mother, and my work, but also my mother. When I came out of secondary school, 2000, I was 15. At that time, you couldn't enter Unilag until you were 16.
Yeah.
And so all my mother's associates were saying she should. My mother is a pastor in MFM, so it's a serious pastor. And so my mother, everybody was like, swear on a affidavit that you are 1 year older. Problem solved. And a lot of people were doing that. My mother said, I cannot saddle you with a sin that you will live with for the rest of your life. You know. And so my mother said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Unilag and find a solution. So what we did, particularly my mother, I was 15, was we were just going to professors' offices and knocking. She said, my son is really blah, 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 blah. He already got the thing, it's just the age thing. And it was one of them I thought I was going to meet the VC. So I went to the VC's office. I think that's when we discovered that there was something called a VC's exemption. We thought the young person was whatever.
Brilliant. You can say that.
Okay. So we kept going to the VC's office for days.
Wow.
So and then the secretary would just knew us and we said, one day you will see, one day you will see. And one day I think we saw him in the elevator.
Okay.
And then we spoke, he said, okay, come the next day. Tell me the other people were talking to him. And that's how three of us, like Lorimo, be myself, but that's how we got VC's exemption to get into Unilag. And I paid, you know, you're a small child, you're paying attention. So I'm like, so I think the courage was like, in this world, if you don't seek, you will not find. If you don't seek, you will not find. I learned that just watching my mother. And so that Livia joining my things was my mom.
Yeah.
My mom was the one that said,
Encouraged you.
go and give him the book. I thought she was going to go. Because my mom is also shy. So what is my mother is also shy. But I think she had also learned in this life that there's no other choice. My mother said, go and give him the book. That's how I learned. So I learned from my mother courage.
Yeah.
You know, I learned from my mother that there's no other person that will just go and do it.
Yeah.
You know? And so I am both shy and bold at the same time. And before I used to think that you cannot be both. But of course you can be both.
Well, how do you create a legacy that you want? Because with a passion like this, you want it to continue even when you're gone.
Yeah.
But continuing means somebody needs to be another Chude. And how are you able to pass on that baton? Because I find that if I have this skill set, let's say I'm a good question asker, right? But I know that it's because it's me. if I set up a structure now that allows me make money, allows me do everything I want to do, and I've done 20 years of this, I would hate to see that build up die with me. But I also know that you can't teach this. It's in you.
Very good question.
Okay.
I don't care about legacy.
Okay.
That's the first thing. I actually don't. I care about what's happening when I'm here.
Right.
When I'm here now. Now, and I realize, and most of the people whose legacies we remember didn't really think about legacy. They were not carefully
curating it. Exactly.
I've learned that the best way to build legacy is to be so yourself that
Just
people
carry
cannot
on.
forget.